Chapter 141. I had no idea that you had such grand ambitions. Of course you didn't. It would be problematic if everyone knew. Why then are you telling me? Do you think you're just anyone? We are on the same boat now, in every sense of the word. From Kishir's side, where a playful smirk had formed, Nathan Zuckerman returned carrying a tray of cake, bite-sized sandwiches, and tea. He interjected with his usual stoic expression. You told him? I thought it was time. As if he expected it, Nathan set down the tray on the table and pulled out an ordinary-looking envelope from his pocket, handing it to Kishir. This message just arrived. It seems you should check it right away. Upon opening the envelope, Kishir read the single piece of the paper inside swiftly. They are moving as expected. A mysterious smile appeared on his face moments later. Silently, he laid down the letter, which he carefully read and put back into the envelope, in front of Yudhir, who was quietly eating his cake. Can you guess who sent this letter? No. It's Ashes Shan Apeto, the current heir of the Apeto Duke family. When Kishir visited the Apeto family, Ashes wasn't there. He often stayed alone in a different mansion because of his bad relationship with his half-brother and second-in-line heir, Lenore, who was coveting his heir's position. This was well known, so even when a scandal broke out in the Apeto family, there were hardly any direct accusations against Ashes. Recalling information about Ashes, who died before Yudhir could see him in his previous life, Yudhir asked, Why would he send a letter to you, Commander? Even if he does nothing, his position as heir is becoming more secure. It's simple. He is not content with just securing his position as heir anymore. He wants to overthrow his father and become the Duke immediately. He says he's willing to help us. As payment, he considers handing over the research results of the elder priest Beltrail's studies. Can we trust him? Of course we can't, but we have Revlin, don't we? Seemingly delighted that things were moving as expected, Kishir looked quite pleased. Seeing Kishir's smile, Yudhir absent-mindedly asked a question. You couldn't have planned everything, even the part about Prince Revlin from the start, could you? Of course not. I wasn't particularly interested in the Apeto side, but suddenly some good cards came in. We have to use them before the timing is missed. I believe in not letting go of any opportunities that come to my hand. Would the Apeto family, probably having a major headache right now, ever have imagined that the disappearance of a single cavalry member on a vacation in Harton would push them into such a situation? Even Yudhir himself, who had been working for Kishir and the cavalry all this time, never expected that the results of his actions would turn out like this. Feeling his heart pound heavily, Yudhir exhaled softly. It was only then that he truly felt that the beautiful man before his eyes was sincerely striving to achieve a grand goal. When did you start all this? Was the cavalry also a part of your plan, Commander? I have had the plan for quite some time. The establishment of the cavalry was suddenly decided when I awakened. But, well, I would have created it even if I hadn't awakened. It's a place that must exist for the stability and peace of the empire. After saying so, Kishir chuckled lowly, as if lost in thought. Initially, I didn't anticipate the cavalry to stabilize so quickly. I thought it would take about 5 years just to get started. But on reflection, you have played a huge part. 5 years. Yudhir was taken aback at the fact that this was the preparation time Kishir had initially planned after deciding to cleanse the giant or empire of its corrupt elements. After the surprise came a bitter feeling. The memory of his previous life, where he had left the world approximately 2 years after the cavalry was formed, came to his mind. Yudhir clenched his teeth lightly and lowered his head. He spotted the letter from Ashes Shand Apeto on the table. The request to not publish or pass on Beltrail's research findings to anywhere else but to him was particularly lengthy, written in handwriting that could not conceal its excitement. The knowledge that such unforgivable deeds were committed in relation to the blood of blessing that had been passed down through our family for generations must not be spread elsewhere. The reason I make this bold request to your grace, the Duke of Paleta, is solely because of that, and there's no other intention. Blood of blessing. At that moment, Yudhir suddenly remembered his conversation with Beltrail and Nahan, which he had momentarily forgotten. It was all for the children of noble families suffering because of the blood of blessing. Is it a crime to have researched for the children who was born to die from birth? Blood of blessing, you say? More like cursed blessing. If it were truly a blessing, would garbage like you resist it so fiercely? Isn't it all the result of you endlessly coveting forbidden power? What was the last thing Nahan had said to Beltrail? You are not only coveting the power of God, but now you are trying to covet the power and lives of your own brothers. In the grand scheme of things, it would be right to eliminate garbage like you. Blood of blessing and the power of God. A strange feeling suddenly overwhelmed him when he remembered the two unfamiliar terms Nahan had mentioned at the same time. Come to think of it, who does you guys refer to? Due to the ambiguity of the words and the fact that Beltrail was almost frantic when confronting Nahan, he had forgotten the conversation, thinking it was not a proper conversation. What's wrong, Yudhir? Is there something strange in that letter? No, just this part. Yudhir shook off a thought that seemed to be on the tip of his tongue and pointed to the part related to Beltrail. The words themselves are understandable, but I find it strange that there's a necessity for such a request. Ah, you mean this part? For a moment, a cold, self-mocking flashed across Kishir's face, then quickly disappeared. It was an expression so unfamiliar that Yudhir almost doubted his eyes. Well, they are desperate too. Pardon? It means that Revlin isn't the only one born with the blood of blessing in the Apeto family. Ashes Beltrail, they are all somewhat different, but they were famous for being frail and not in good health. Do you understand? Upon hearing that, Yudhir finally understood why Ashes had insisted on discussing only Beltrail's research, avoiding any mention of the shame of his family. So you intend to repeat the same mistake, even knowing that the research did not yield any meaningful results? No one knows what Ashes will do once he gets his hands on it. Of course, that's why I don't intend to hand it over. We will destroy everything we obtain from there once this matter is settled. The notes and documents Beltrail had taken from the annex basement were neatly piled in a corner of the headquarters. According to Gakane, who had bought them and had a quick glance, most of the documents were research reports, and the rest were data collected from various places. Gakane mentioned that there were also writings directly from Beltrail, but there wasn't enough time to examine them thoroughly. Even Ashes, who seemed relatively quiet among, is like this. There is no one to be taken lightly. He understood very well why Kishir wanted to confront him using Revlin. Have all your questions been answered? Immersed in thought, Yudhir was playfully asked by Cashier. Only then did Yudhir come to his senses and reply, I don't have any more immediate questions. We have got a long way to go. We don't need to solve everything right away. Now, let's eat again before the cake waiting for you melts. The cake placed in front of them was a rich chocolate cake with golden powder sprinkled on top and a sweet scent wafting from the white cream. Yudhir clenched his lips towards the cake and reluctantly picked up his fork. He seems to be feeding me these things for some reason. He wouldn't be misunderstanding something, would he? Looking up, he saw Kishore smiling as usual. In the end, Yudhir stood up only after he had eaten all the cake that had filled the large plate. I'll be going down now. Go ahead. Oh, remember, the special award ceremony on the day of blessing is coming up in 3 days. Just as Yudhir was about to turn, Kishore suddenly brought up something. The special award ceremony was effectively the last event to wrap up the Harvest Festival, a schedule for the entire cavalry to participate in. Of course, he remembered it. Yes, just responding to Kishore's comment brought back the sweetness left in his mouth. Whether Yudhir tried to cover his mouth with his sleeve, Kishore continued with a cheerful face. The tailored suit for the day is arriving tomorrow. No matter how busy you are, don't miss it and try it on in advance. There might be parts that are not made correctly. A suit? At the unfamiliar term, Yudhir tilted his head but soon recalled the conversation. Ah, right. They said they would give a suit made to fit the uniform size to all members for the occasion. In his previous life, he had always attended any occasion in his commander's uniform. So, he had never cared about things like suits. Considering it's a waste of time, he even made a new rule after he became the commander that the members of the cavalry could wear uniforms on occasions instead of formal wear. He knew that the nobles laughed behind his back, but he didn't find it threatening, so it was fine.